It's always an honor. I love you deeply. We spoke, I think it's already 2 years ago, the last time we talked about Authority Zero. But this time we're going to talk
Man,
about your new solo album, the fourth one. But for people that maybe don't recognize the glasses or the hat, who the hell are you?
I'll take them all off for you. No, I was kidding. My name is Jason DeVore. I sing for the punk band, punk reggae ska rock band, what do you want to call it these days? Authority Zero. And I've put out a few albums myself solo since 2006. So I've had a solo running career of 18 years, which is kind of weird to think about too when you say it out loud. But this is my fourth, like you mentioned, solo record I've released recently on Double Helix Records, and I'm over the moon about it, man.
It's a great record. I have the chance to
Thank you.
listen to it. I did twice today, and it's a really beautiful and inspiring records. And I'm
Thank you.
curious how you came with the idea of the song, how it merged in your head. Is it lyrics or music, harmony? How those things pop into you, and how did you start your process of creating?
A lot of it starts with a thought. Honestly, it starts with a thought process. Excuse me, a thought process of kind of what's happening at the moment, or things that I've been dwelling on, or things that have been weighing heavy on me, or even situational when just something happens when you show up after 5 months of touring and you're either wiped out or something you're super excited, and it sparks something that's been deep inside of me that I've not really attended to yet, possibly, and it'll lyrically start just come pouring out of me in my little notepad on my phone. Typically, when it's on tour nowadays, it's not even so much pen and pencil, which is kind of sad to say, but it's equally as cool because of the fact that when I get some ideas, they come really fast and they come in bulk and they need to be out of me quickly. Otherwise, they can dissipate and it kind of bums me out. And then I'll dwell on that a bit, trying to get, because when you always think you've got the perfect line or you've got the perfect way of expressing something, and then you've been, maybe that's why it's been inside you so long. It's because you couldn't quite express it the way you've meant to say it or express it. And then when you do, and that flies away without you getting it down, it can be very frustrating. So when that happens, I'm pretty quick about putting that down. And then from there, I really start hearing melodies in my head. Many times also with being on tour as much as we are, you're always around different music, different bands and sounds. And oddly, like sometimes when you hear like even a band doing sound check, you'll be like 3 rooms over and you'll hear a completely different song than what they're playing, but you hear inspiration and you're like, holy shit. And it's just like bam. And then that lyric, I'll grab those lyrics and I'll start slapping them to that. Sometimes it's a guitar lick or something, and I'll just do the guitar lick and then I'll start just humming to things. A lot of musicians do that. You're like, oh, that's a cool melody. That word sounds like it'd be cool there, but that's not really a word. So what am I trying to say there that makes that still equally uh as it's as shiny the way it sounds with the melody that's going on with the guitar.
It's amazing because for people like me who don't create music, it's hard to figure out that you can have, like you said, a melody or a rhyme or something, and you know put the puzzle together and create a songs. But it's amazing. And how do you challenge yourself as a writer? Do you check what the others do? Do you challenge yourself your own way? I know you read a lot, so how you see your process, your evolution as a writer?
I see it as definitely more expansive than it used to be when I was younger. I just actually did an interview. It's funny you mentioned this because it's kind of fresh in my brain, so that's good. That when I was younger, man, when I was a kid, we first started this whole thing out, I was very unopen-minded, I guess, in some ways, as youth seems to be and tends to be, because you're kind of like set in your ways and you think you got it all figured out. You think you know exactly what's right and wrong. All that shit, and we still do. I'm 44. No, I'm just kidding. But it's like, especially when you're a kid, you've got your clique, you've got your group, you've got your sound of this is what's up, and anything around that is lame, or it's like just doesn't hit as hard, or it doesn't, it's just shitty, or it's like too mainstream, or it's too this, or it's too underground, or you name it. There's always something that's not like the particular of your thing when you're young. But as I've grown older throughout the years and I've seen so many bands throughout my life, and in different genres of the same genre and facets of that within and throughout, and the community of it all, just how universal it is and how diverse it is and expansive it is. My mind is like just open to the entire world of music these days. Like throughout probably the last like 20 years of my life, honestly, I'd say I'm just like I'm like a giant kid with a sponge for a brain that I'm so open to like I don't know what I'm talking about all the time. Teach me, show me things that I would love to learn about, and I take from all these things. And I didn't used to do that when I was younger. I was very much like, if it's not punk rock, if I can't skate to it, it's crap. I'm not into it. You know, it's like that was super young Jason. But being in this band, dude, it really opened my eyes and my ears and my mind, because we obviously are all across the board with what we like stylistically. And some will call it punk rock, some won't. And that's kind of the thing we never really cared. We just did what we wanted to do, and that was fine with us. And so that's also helped me not stay in this closed little box. And again, in my older years now, I'm welcoming all types of new sounds and music to experiment with. And to get back to the point of like how I push myself, that's the part that kind of comes natural and easy, just to be like open minded. The other part is to where I push myself is that if I think something sounds good, then I question it and I try and make it not sound like the way it sounds too naturally good, because then it's probably too simple, or maybe I did actually hear it that day and it's, came a little too quick and it's a little too catchy. And I'm like, let me check on this in my head for a second and see if I need to question this for a minute. Did I just rip off Jimmy Eat World's, latest hit? And that's why I think this melody is brilliant right now. So I'll check myself more, a little bit, and it just keeps me experimenting and keeps me honest with myself, and it also again keeps me trying to make it different than just what comes naturally, which is also you're kind of pushing and pulling on yourself, which makes it more fun.
It's an interesting point. You're right. It's not about challenging yourself or finding the perfect word. It's just being open to everything the world throw at you, and don't judge or skip it. Just embrace every door and let them open, and
Yeah,
embracing like every style of music because it can bring you something. And I think you're right. And it's just to put the right word, the human words, and put some heart in it and just do it.
100%. I think that's a completely valid recap of that, man. I think it's the best way to go about writing music, because that's what punk rock's about, dude. And I'm not trying to be like the punk rock thing, this and that, and what's more punk thing, because that's like the ongoing shit my whole life. But to me, that's what it means. It's like do what you fucking want. You don't get put in a box, and that's what a lot of people have done, unfortunately, with punk rock. Is you put yourself in a box in some variations, and it limits you, which it's supposed to be about the exact opposite. It's supposed to be freeing and fuck all this. Fuck all this.
Yeah.
I got to play this way. And, that's the conformity of it. The conformity of it doesn't make sense to me in that regard. The idea of like open to like being open minded and individualistic is what it is makes sense to me.
Yeah, yeah, and it's an interesting point that also you said, like, because with the band, you always have a different approach every records, and I think that's why it's so accurate. But like you said, it's not punk rock anymore for many people. That's a good thing. You all pass,
Sure.
something that can restrain you because there's still rules in punk rock to follow, which sucks.
Well, there shouldn't be.
No,
Should be
why
no
don't?
fucking rules,
Yeah,
man. There's no
some
fucking
people
rules.
don't
That's what
got it.
No, I'm telling you, man, it's not like everyone's got their thing again, and this is not like a thing with anybody that feels certain ways about whatever. But my personal outlook on it is no fucking rules, break down barriers, break the musical boundaries, do what you love, and stick with what you feel is true to yourself, and be
Yeah.
honest with yourself, and don't fucking fight that.
Yeah, and I think that's why, people love so much your solo career. It's different and it really show a vulnerable side of yours, but still show how creative you are and how original you are as an artist. And I felt that, I know you clean up yourself, you went to hell, remember the hospital and everything. That was a shitty episode, but you take everything negative from that time, you change it into something positive, inspired a
Yeah,
shitload of people of getting
thank
clean,
you.
or knew that there was a struggle. But I think that the whole record represent that, and it's a really strong records because I felt that you're more stronger than ever.
I am, man. I really am, honestly. And it's like it's such a great feeling to like have certainty and like self, I guess, more again. Because that was a big confusing part of it for me was like, who the fuck am I anymore? Because you get lost in a lot of shit. It's like you're drunk, your mind's like mashed potatoes, you're you're fucking blowing it in a lot of ways. You're making mistakes you wouldn't normally make. You're not as you don't remember shit as much. It's like all these things, and you get lost within yourself. And it's been such an eye-opening resurgence of my own person, I guess, and like knowing where I stand, how I stand, and who I am and what I stand for, I guess, without question in some regard too, and without apology, unapologetically. It's like, and that's the best feeling for anyone that you're referencing, looking to be inspired to maybe take a shot at an alternative lifestyle, like I've decided to choose over this past few years. A lot of that self doubt, a lot of that cloud of just like problematic things that you're going through that you think are just devastating. Like, and it could be as stupid as a parking ticket that like just ruins your life. You get anxious, you lose sleep over the dumbest shit. But then you wake up one day and when you switch gears and you suddenly just deal with it and you feel confident that you can deal with it, and then it's over with and you move the fuck on. It's like you're able to move on in your life. You're not dwelling on it all day. Relationships, money, name it. You know what I mean? Like something you said to the guy the wrong way last night. Something dumb as that. It's like, oh, I feel like I killed my grandmother. It's like all day. What did I actually do? It's changed so many ways. Like you say, it's put more focus in my life. It's put more focus on why I'm here, why I feel like I'm still doing this, and why I love doing this. It's actually reinvited me mentally to the party of like, let's go have fun doing this again instead of just like because it's what you do. It's like I love doing this so much more than I had for so many years again. Being on stage, getting up on stage, like whereas I used to be like, oh, I feel like garbage. I'm hungover. I'm like, oh, give me a couple shots so I can make it through. Now I can't fucking wait to get on stage and like just get rad with everybody, make them feel the same way I'm feeling for like an hour and a half, 15 minutes. Hopefully make a difference in their life and change their mood for just a little while and then help them have a better week, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And I
and the
talk a
thing is,
lot.
that's I love the
Thanks, buddy.
best interview. But you're right. You're right. And you feel things and you feel, a connection with the reality around you and the universe. And yeah, it's not like a whole blur, every day. But
You know
yeah.
what? Yeah. With that in mind too, I'm gonna jump in there with that too. Like my buddy Trent Eastwood from Uncommon Men from Mars out in Europe, out there in France. I remember when I was like out there touring with them ages ago, when they were still rocking out and stuff. Um, he had a talk. We met up like 5 years later after having toured prior, and I was like, man, it was like 5 years ago. I'm like, it goes by like that. He was like, yeah, weirdly because he was sober. I think he had to have been because what he said to me resonated, and it still does to this moment. And I was not at all, especially in Europe, sober. So we were having a conversation after show, and I was like, it's gone by so quickly. He's like, man, I tell you, he's like, it does, but when you don't drink, it's like time goes by a lot slower, and it's like you enjoy things more and you notice things. And it wasn't like we were talking about drinking or quitting drinking alcohol. It might have just been apparent maybe to him. It might have been the telltale signs of, you maybe I should mention this to this guy because he's out here doing it pretty hard, nonstop, and maybe I should squeeze this in and maybe give him some direction, just a little nudge. So it's really stood with me, and so I got Trent to thank for that memory of things. That's part of my story.
Yeah, and you see what happened, you see those old punkers that went for it, they're all, their entire life, and they die
Yeah,
young, or they got really healthy problems. And you see others that were clean and they're, they look amazing in their 70s, 80s, and you're like, if I
yeah,
look like that, I would be really happy. And then yeah,
yeah.
that's
And
that's a choice of health and what you do with your body. If you beat him
yeah,
up every fucking day, of course you will not go. You will not see the 100 years.
no, it's gonna give up on you, man. Eventually, it's just gonna be like, well, I'm gonna kill you. Literally, I'll kill you if you keep doing this. Like, I'll give up. And so, if you want to flourish, at least in my mind, in my experience, and keep doing what you love and do it well, and not just bum people out when you play shows and be a pile of shit. like I was kind of turning on stage, you kind of like giving what you got left rather than like everything you've got.
Mm.
That's the way I've chosen to do this instead. It's been life changing.
Right now, you're in Canada touring with Authority Zero. You're going to be in
Yeah.
Quebec for two festivals, Aval et Macadam, which is here in my hometown, Quebec City. It
Yeah.
changed a lot. It's going to be great. You're going to play at the Auntie with such a great lineup. And you're going to
Mm.
play in Saguenay at Le Deluge, which is fucking great. And
Yeah,
another
let's go, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, this first leg has been great over here on the western mid coast of everything of Canada, and we're looking forward to the east. It's going to be great to be able to cover as much ground in Canada this year as we have. It's been a minute since we've done some real extensive touring up here, so we're seeing it in the audiences. We're feeling it in the room, and it's just exciting to be up here again. We have Steve from Belvedere, singer of Belvedere. He's our booking agent up here now and in Europe. So we're going to be doing a lot more stuff up here. I think now that we've got all of our politics and stuff of that nature sorted and lined back up. And it's just been an exciting time, man, with our 30-year here. This new album with my solo record. It's just an exciting year, man. A lot of touring and traveling and new music is happening.
Yeah, and the scene in Canada and Quebec have changed so much. There's so rad people that doing the right thing and the right job. Steve, the scene has been touring with Belvedere since forever, and they
Mm-hmm.
know the struggle. They know how hard it is. So he built, everything so the band can be comfortable and have fun and don't worry about, the shit that back in the days were happening, like not getting paid and running the
Yeah,
promoters in a parking lot to get
yeah,
like
dude. You're bringing back memories now. You guys surround him on that side. We'll come at him this way.
yeah, and that's when you don't fuck with the band because but yeah, it
They're
changed,
hungry.
but it's Steve is amazing.
He is. He's a brilliant dude, man. Great person, great personality, great agent. He's just like very personable. He texts me every day after every show how to go. It's a thing. That's a special thing, man. Not a lot of people do that and have that cool connection with the people that they work with, which is unfortunate because it should be that way because you're all the same team, essentially.
Will you do solo show during the tour, or you're waiting for the end of the Authority Zero tour and do some shows around?
I might do a couple here and there. Um, it depends on time scheduling and all these things. It's idealistically, this whole year would have been perfect sense for me to book an entire solo tour while I'm doing the entire worldwide Authority Zero touring. Just to get it in there, like right when the record release is, because it's all happening at the same time, which is kind of crazy. As exciting as it is, I'm definitely having to give to each certain energy to make sure it doesn't completely burn the candle at both ends, and go for burnout. But I am doing it pretty well, I think, at the moment. Luckily, again, because of my health, I have the energy to do these things and the mental capacity to take it on, and the drive and desire to make sure they both do as well as they possibly can, front to back. So my thoughts are probably, I've talked to Steve actually 2 days ago about getting up here to do an actual just Canadian run with my solo gigs and stuff like that. So I don't know how many people up in Canada know my solo music, so it's hard to gauge how many people might show up or not or come out.
It's my
So
job.
that might, yeah, thank you. Let's tell the world about that. Tell all of Canada that I'll be probably hopefully coming back. Um, Probably not in the winter. I don't know about the winter because I'm not big fond of ice and flipping bands like we tend to do in the past of our vehicle flippage. But I do want to I want to use the time that I've got available when I'm not touring with the band to try and push my new record as much as I can.
I hate winters since I'm born and I still fucking hate it.
Dude,
82
I was
years
like,
later.
yeah, man. I mean, I was from Wyoming and Arizona, but I grew up as a kid in Wyoming with like snow drifts, shoveling the sidewalk right before school, turning the AC on for like 30 minutes before you drive to school with your parents. It's crazy. But I'm still a big fan of the cold, which is weird, but not the freezing cold. But I love like winters and like snowboarding and just the atmosphere of it sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, you have to do sports to enjoy winter or have a lot
Yeah,
of kids and have to go outside.
for sure. Absolutely.
So, Jason, thank you so much. Again, I repeat myself, I love you deeply, but you've always been generous with the radio show and people in Quebec. And You always been, you have always been a special place in people's heart here. And yeah, they
Thank
know
you.
well your career. One of, the show you did when you toured with Scott from Hall and with Cigar. That was amazing. I still have such great memories of that show at Loud. That was such a great night.
Oh, what a good time, man. With Rami and all that too. It was just a great group of people, man. It was such a good time and like just so organic and just fun loving, free caring, you know what I mean? We just had a nice time. So thank you for that.
I'm not sure if the whole world was catching their breath when they signed to Fat Wreck Cigar, but we did because Quebec fucking digs cigars since they won, and they
Just
were
so
kind
rad.
of that band that you when people are like, yeah, punk rock, and you have that card. Do you know Cigar? No, and then you show the records, and they're like,
You don't know punk, check this out. I'm gonna throw some cigar at you, man. Get your drum on. He's a machine. Absolute machine on those drums, man.
yeah, Big John is, and he's fucking tall.
Dude, he's massive. I mean, all those dudes are so technical and good at each individual things. It's such a powerhouse, dude.
It's
I'll
true.
have to talk to I'll talk to Rami. Maybe we'll do a co-headlining tour of their acoustic. That'd be kind of a fun thing to do.
You know, that's why we did the interview. It's brainstorming.
We got to keep this up. Keep brainstorming, people. Throw in your questions. keep keep it coming.
The album is available everywhere. People, of course, go listen to it. But if people want to buy merch and maybe they're not able to catch you live, what's the best way to directly encourage you as your solo career and maybe with Authority Zero also?
Well, the band with myself, I have Hello Merch is the site that they can go to for my solo merch. I have a couple t-shirts up there. I'm also going to be putting some things on just jasondevore.com. I've got my own personal shirts that I do as well that I'll be adding to that, and jasondevoreart.com. Actually, there'll probably be more on jasondevoreart.com, but there's a link on the Devore. Um, but and then with Authority Zero, just authorityzero.com, we have our merch store linked up in there. It's XYZ merch. So
As you
we've got
see, man.
all of our 30-year merchandise is up on there, and it's pretty sick. So you want to get it if you want the 30-year stuff, now's the time because the designs are epic and they're only going to be for this year. So I definitely get your hands on it if you can.
And can you believe, like, when you did the first gig as Authority Zero, that you would be still rocking 30 years later?
Absolutely. I'm a very determined kid, man. When I was younger, I wanted to be a pro skateboarder or a pro snowboarder, and music came right along with that. So I think I was bound to do one of those things. And due to like physical attributes of ankles breaking and snapping and Achilles tendons and all these things, I am blessed that music became the thing that stepped into line and gave me the option to give life direction. Because I definitely when I go for something, I go really hard. So I dreamed of being the Aerosmith with my buddies when I was a kid, just old as shit up there, just like rotting to death, and still playing music and rock and roll.
I'm I'm sure every bones of your body would say thank you, Jason, for singing and not.
they, the last thing that they would say is "Thank you, Jason," even for this. This is like skateboarding on stage. Just like I can avoid a couple tricks.
It is true. It's physical, and people, if
Yeah,
if you can still grab tickets, there's available. We're gonna put all the links below, and the link you mentioned. Of course, go listen to the music to Jason DeVore solo. There's 4 records. They're all amazing. And man,
thank you.
thank you so much. I'm gonna wait in Quebec. We see each other in September. It's gonna be full pack. I'm
Yeah,
sure there's gonna be maybe people disappointed because yeah, go fast. Like if you go see, I think you play on Thursday. So if you want to catch them, go like sooner because it's gonna be sold out.
yeah. It's around my birthday too. I'm coming right about my 45th birthday, so it's like the day of or the day after, I think even.
I bring the cake.
Bring the cake. All right, man. I appreciate you
Thanks,
very much
Jason.
again, brother. You
Thank
take
you.
care,
Say
everybody.
hi to everybody and Krish particularly and love you deeply. Bye bye, Jason. Have a great show tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend.
Cheers.
Our prescription is what you need. No more inhibition.